Yeah, well, this wasn't the direction I was going to go initially, but God orchestrated this in such a way that this is how I'm going to go about it. So here we go. In the last video I posted, I mentioned that we should at least be open to the potential possibility that the tribulation has started already, but the only reason why we're not raptured yet is because the wrath hasn't started yet, right? So here's one of the things I just want to put out here to everybody. Um, Again, as I iterated in the last video, nowhere in the Bible does it say that the tribulation has to begin with God's wrath. It doesn't say that. It just says that those 7 years will be like those the earth has never seen before and will never see ever again. It does say that the wrath of God will be poured out during that time. It doesn't say when it starts pouring out during that time. And that's why we have speculations around pre-tribulation rapture, mid-trib rapture, post-trib rapture, etc. Right? I think one of the things that confuses a lot of people in this topic when it comes to eschatology and the order of events, the sequence of events, right, is when we read Revelation chronologically, in other words, from beginning to end, and assume that it has to happen in that order, even because that's the way the text is written. But it's abundantly obvious that the text was written as John was given these revelations, not in sequence, but in chunks. So we went from one vision to the next, to the next, to the next. What that suggests is that it's likely, not even probable, but likely that these events overlap somehow. The problem is we don't know how they overlap because we can't distinguish that in the text. So in Revelation chapter 1, Jesus is talking about the 7 lampstands and who they are. In Revelation chapter 2 through 3, he's talking to the 7 churches, and he's warning all of these 7 churches, some of them admonishment, some of them criticism, and warning them what to do and why to do it. In Revelation chapter 4, it says, "After this I looked, and there before me was a door standing up open in heaven. And the voice I had heard speaking to me like a trumpet said, 'Come up here, and I will show you what must take place after this.'" So when you read the text like that, chronologically, it makes you assume that this event has to happen after the church event. Tracking with me so far? But that's not explicit in the text. It just says after this. So we jump to rushing into that conclusion. All right? So next it talks about who's worthy to open the seals for the scrolls, the scroll and the lamb. And then let's jump on down to Revelation chapter 6. And this is where I want to spend the time to help us here. This is where I think it gets really juicy. In Revelation chapter 6, it starts talking about the 7 seals that are being cracked open by God. Now, everybody automatically jumps and rushes to the conclusion that as soon as the seals are being opened, I'm not saying everybody, let me take that back. Not everybody does. There's a lot of differing opinions on this topic. But overwhelming consensus for those, I believe, in the pre-tribulation camp, let me be specific, is that when the seals start cracking open, that's God's wrath. But that's not exactly how I think it's intended to be read either. I do believe that they have to do with God's wrath, but we're going to be very careful as we read it. In Revelation chapter 6, verse 1, it says, "I watched as the Lamb opened the first of the 7 seals. Then I heard one of the 4 living creatures say in a voice like thunder, 'Come.' I looked, and there before me was a white horse. Its rider held a bow, and he was given a crown, and he rode out as a conqueror bent on conquest." Now, there's a few things I just want to highlight right here before I move on. Number 1, the white horse seems to be like the horse that Jesus rode on in the end. What does Jesus come back to do after the tribulation? Rides on a horse, the sword comes out of his mouth, and he conquers to establish his kingdom for 1,000 years. We call it the millennial reign. Well, this white horse isn't Jesus. Instead, it's a horse, it's a horseman, and its rider holds a bow. I'm going to shout out here to a friend of mine, Malcolm, helped me see this today. A bow is a weapon, but it can be a weapon that's deterrence and not necessarily a weapon for destruction. In other words, if you see a bow on my back, you might not mess around with me because I'm deterring the rest of the world, saying, look at what I'm capable of doing. I'm going to offer this suggestion here. The white horseman is DJT, and the bow is a show of power, because what does it say? That he rode out as a conqueror bent on conquest. What does DJT do? He goes out and apparently just goes ahead and takes whatever countries he wants to at this point. Take a look at Venezuela. The example is right there. It's already being fulfilled, right? And just a tiny bit before that, this is the one thing I really want to highlight here. He was given a crown. Do yourself a favor and go do a word study right now on the word crown. I know you're not going to do this study yourself, so let me point it out for you here instead. In 1 Corinthians 9:24-25, do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one receives the prize? In ancient Roman times, the prize was a crown, okay? And then down here, 2 Timothy is talking more about heaven, the kind of crown, the reward that after you finish the race, the reward that you're going to receive is a crown, okay? Well, if the reward for athletic events is likened to a crown, as I just read from Revelation chapter 6, its rider held a bow and he was given a crown. And he rode out as a conqueror bent on conquest. Guess who received an award like you would get if you were winning a race, aka like a FIFA championship? The first ever in history, on December 2025, the World Cup draw in Washington, D.C., awarded by FIFA for his perceived efforts to promote global peace. No sooner than he receives the crown or this award, he goes and starts conquering. A lot lines up there, but that's not all I got for you. That's the first seal. Verse 3, Revelation 6:3. When the Lamb opened the second seal, I heard the second living creature say, "Come." Then another horse came out, a fiery red one. This one tripped me out when I read it, okay? Its rider was given power to take peace from the earth and to make men slay each other. To him was given a large sword. Okay, so if a bow is used as a deterrent, therefore not necessary for destruction, death, war, chaos, but it's capable of it, right? And you're able to go around and conquer with those things. The second horseman is given a large sword. What do swords do? They cut, they bludgeon, they kill. This is the only thing they're good for. But this is the part that tripped me out right here. Another horse came out, a fiery red one. Guys, this year's Chinese New Year, the zodiac, it's not just the year of the horse. It's the year of the fire horse. If there's any more that I need to say to convince us that we're watching these signs unfold right now to help us change our thinking just a little bit, to maybe possibly allow us the potential that we are in it right now. The tribulation has begun. The seals are being broken literally before our very eyes. There's still time to repent. Give your life to Christ. Talk to me if you need help with the gospel. I would love to talk to you.